we gotta talk. Because you guys came through in such a way that I still cannot comprehend. You've asked for it, so here is my Tyrion video, my Tyrion update of what it was like for the last 48 hours while my baby was very, very ill and close to death. So where to begin? Okay, so last month in October, Tyrion was diagnosed with a condition called IMPA, which is immune-mediated polyarthritis, which is kind of like rheumatoid arthritis for humans, where your immune system attacks the body of dogs and cats and it attacks their limbs. And so Tyrion started getting inflammation all throughout his body. Both of his legs, actually all four of his legs, had inflammation to the point where he could not walk. Every time he tried to walk, he would limp really, really badly, and it's like his whole body was like falling apart. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know where this came from. I had no clue what was going on. I had no direction. I was just freaking out. So I finally took him to the doctor, and originally they didn't know what was wrong. They said it was probably a soft tissue injury. Maybe he was jumping up and down. It happens sometimes. They gave me some medication for him and said in a couple of weeks he should start to heal naturally. Well, a month passed and he was still sick. In fact, he was getting worse. So I went back to the same vets. They did more x-rays on him. They found more inflammation, but they couldn't determine where it was coming from or why it was happening. So that doctor referred me to a different specialist in downtown Tampa who specializes in joint issues. So I went to that doctor back in October and that's where Tyrion was diagnosed with IMPA for the first time. That was the first time I even heard of what that term was or what that disease was. Now that visit was difficult for me because it cost me close to $5,000. So when I went to the office, they had to do their own x-rays and their own studies on him, and those bills pile up very, very fast. Now I do have pet insurance. I want to make that very clear. I do have pet insurance. However, when Tyrion was a puppy was when I first purchased insurance for him. And it was my first time ever having a pet, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And I got the basic plan, not realizing it, which only covered up to $500 for the year. Now, Tyrion's bill was way above that, so they were not gonna pay for any services for him regarding this disease, to my dismay. And I was told that I could upgrade my plan, but it would take 365 days for any pre-existing to be covered going forward. So that means anything now is not gonna be covered, and they will only consider covering pre-existing a year from now. So I did it because I had no choice, right? It was the only option I had. Every other pet insurance that I found didn't cover pre-existing, except for the one that I was already on. So I just stayed with them. I upgraded my insurance with them, and next year he'll be covered for up to $10,000 of any services, which still isn't much because as you guys will hear in this story, vet bills go up extremely, extremely high out of nowhere. So 10,000 barely covers what he'll need in the future, God forbid. But it's something. I'll take it. So after that visit, they prescribed Tyrion with two medications. One was luflutamide and the other was a steroid therapy called prednisone, I think it's called. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but I'll have it up on the screen somewhere. And those meds worked immediately. Like all of his limping went away. He was almost back to normal again. Like it was like it never happened. So I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. But they did tell me that a side effect from the steroid therapy could be some conditions. Like it could attack his liver. He can get other types of diseases possibly that could occur if he's on steroids for too long. So the goal was always to only have him on steroids for a limited time. That's it, on a small dose, which is what we did. And for the past month and a half, he's been absolutely fine. He's been great. Not 100%, but definitely much better than he was prior to me going to the doctor. So I think it was Sunday, this past Sunday, which is about 4 days ago, I noticed that Tyrion was acting weird. He wasn't eating as much like he normally does, and Tyrion loves to eat. So he wasn't eating his normal rate of food. And he was laying down and wouldn't get up. He just wanted to lay in one spot and did not want to get up. And I could just tell from his face and his demeanor that he was not himself. Like something was off. And I know my dog. Tyrion is a very happy, active, energetic dog. He's a Husky. So to see my dog just kind of, just chilling and not really having any expressions on his face worried me. But I thought, okay, maybe he has a stomach bug. Maybe he's just not feeling well. I'm gonna monitor him, but I think he'll be okay, because I was already scheduled to do a recheck appointment with Tyrion this actual week. No, I'm sorry, next week was the actual appointment that they were gonna schedule for me. And that was just to see how he was doing on the medication. So I had spoke to the vet's office 2 weeks ago, and they told me, call back in 2 weeks to let us know how his dose is working, how the new dose, because we had lowered his dose on the steroids, how's that going for him, and we'll, schedule a recheck appointment to see how he's doing. So then Tyrion got sick this week, and I'm just like, well, his recheck appointment is due next week. Maybe he could hold off. I don't think I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's fine, right? This is me trying to rationalize everything. Monday comes. He's even worse. I put him on my bed because I work from home. So I'm working in my office, and I kept checking on him, and he just was laying down in one spot and did not get up the entire time. Now, he was breathing, he was fine, but he wasn't moving around. And normally Tyrion would jump off the bed or he'll move around the bed, but he was laying in one spot. And he wouldn't eat anything. I tried giving him treats, he wouldn't eat it. He loves his treats, wouldn't eat his treats. So that was a telltale sign, because whenever you have a dog and your dog loses its appetite, that's when you know something is up. If a dog doesn't want to eat, something is wrong. That's Tyrion walking around right now. I don't know if you can hear him. So that Monday, I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on. I'm worried for him, but I don't know what to do. So Tuesday rolls around. He's drinking his water right now. I don't know if you can hear him. Want more water? 1 second. Guys, look who's here. It's your video, papi. Your video. You had everybody scared. Everybody was scared for you, puppy. Let's see. If he wants his treat, then we know he's getting better. Ready? All right, I gotta finish this video. So I couldn't figure out what to do. So I thought, well, maybe I'll make an appointment at his local vet's office, because it's only 15 minutes away, because his specialist office is in downtown Tampa, which is like 45 minutes away from where I'm at. So I thought it would be easier for me to just go to the local office. But then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, but the other office has all of his records. They know his history. It may be smarter just to go to his main office, even though it's further away. So I'm telling the girl what's happening, and she's like, you know what? If you feel, she goes, we can't schedule you right now because our doctors are all booked up. But if you feel like he's not doing well, you can always bring him in as an emergency, and we'll see him right away. It just won't be from his specialist doctor. It'll be whoever's on staff. At that point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it, because my baby's not well right now, and I'm just not feeling good. So I left work early. I left work at 3:30, and I took him to the hospital. We drove, and he was really calm. But normally when Tyrion's in the car, he's very anxious. He moves around a lot. Sometimes he cries, he barks, he howls. He doesn't like to be in the car for too long. But this car ride, he was chill. He was just laying in the back, laying down, looking outside the window, doing things that he normally doesn't do. So I'm like, something's up. Something's definitely up, because he normally is so anxious, and right now he's just completely chill. So I'm definitely worried at this point, but I'm like, all right, at least he's breathing. I kept like looking back at him and rubbing his face, telling him I loved him as I'm driving. So we get to the vet's office, and I had to pick him up the stairs, because they don't have a ramp, unfortunately, and he wouldn't walk up the stairs. So I picked him up, I opened the door, and I put him down thinking he's gonna walk, and he just wouldn't walk. He just stood still. So the girls that are at the front desk are looking at me like, is he okay? So I just pick him up and I bring him in. And immediately the girl's like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, I don't know, he's not doing well. He's just been sick lately. I called earlier, they told me to bring him in. As I'm talking, the other girl who's behind her grabs the phone and immediately makes a call and says something about stat. I don't know what she said, but she said something. All of a sudden, the back door is open, and like 3 people come rushing in. One of them is a doctor, and they're like, okay, your dog does not look good. And at this point, Tyrion, I have him on the ground, and he's just like panting really heavy. He looks really pale. He just looks like he's close to death pretty much. And I'm freaking out, but I'm trying to stay calm. So she's like, all right, we're gonna take him in the back right now. So they pick him up. I kiss him really quickly. They take him to the back. The girl tells me, normally we make you guys wait, but at this point in time, he looks so bad that we're gonna just take him right away. So that kind of alarmed me, because normally, Really? Really, car alarm? Because normally when you go to the ER, they make you sign papers. You gotta wait like 15, 20 minutes before they even see you. I've never gone to an ER for humans or pets where they take you right away. That only happens in movies. So them taking him right away kind of alarmed me. And then like 2 minutes later, a doctor or nurse, I don't know who it was, comes out and she asked me, "Did you give us permission to resuscitate him if he passes out or something happens?" And I'm like, yes, absolutely. So she's talking to me and I'm on the verge of breaking down, because now you're taking him immediately to the back. Now you're talking about, do I get permission for him to be resuscitated if he goes under? Like, what? So at this point, I know something's up. I don't know what's happening. I'm scared. They take me to a different room to sit down and wait on my own. So I'm sitting down in the room by myself. At this point, I'm just praying. I'm like, Lord, please help my baby. Please help my baby. I don't know what's wrong with him. Help him. The doctor comes in and she's like, the ER doctor comes in and she's like, I want to go over some stuff with you, some of his history. I see here that he's on these 2 medications. I see he was recently diagnosed with IMPA from Dr. Ishak. I said, yes, he was. And she's asked me questions about like, how has he been taking the medications? How has his health been thus far? So I'm telling her all this stuff. As we're talking, the nurse, or one of the, I guess, assistants comes in and she goes,
"His PCV is at 6%.
And the doctor's like, all right, yes, definitely do the transfusion. So at this point, I'm like, what does that mean? I have no idea what that means, but it's bad. So the doctor tells me he's not doing well. He's anemic. He's not breathing well enough on his own, and we have to give him a blood transfusion immediately to help his blood levels go back up, because he's at a 6%, and normal levels is supposed to be around 35 to 40%, and he's at 6%. So he's barely breathing at this point. So at this point, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? What is going on with my baby boy? I don't understand. This came out of nowhere. So she's telling me all this stuff. At this point, I wasn't even listening, because it was like an out-of-body experience. Like, I'm thinking my Tyrion may pass away at this hospital. And I'm just like, I'm freaking out at this point. So the last thing she said was, we're going to, she goes, I'll bring the nurse in to give you the estimate. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh my God, here we go. I already know I can't afford this, because when I came last time, I had to take out a care credit card, and I got a loan for $5,000. No, it was $6,000 to cover the previous bill when I went in October. Now she's talking about a new estimate, and I'm thinking blood transfusion, lab work, ER visit. I already know it's going to be crazy high. So my anxiety is starting to raise, but I'm like, all right, just stay calm, Chuck. Just stay calm. You can't control this right now. Just focus on Tyrion and his health. We'll deal with the finances later. So the girl comes in with her paper, and she has 2 estimates. One low estimate is $5,200, and the high estimate was $5,500. Yeah, those are my options. So she's talking to me about like, so we need to do this, we got to do this, and this is important for this, and she's just telling me all this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't afford this, I can't afford it, because I already took out a care credit card, and my limit was only $6,000, which is what I asked for, because that was the estimate from the last visit. So, and I'm not going to take out more than I need. So I told her right away, I said, I can't afford this. I said, so I may have to call Care Credit or go on the website and see if I can get a credit increase. So she was like, you can do it on your phone right now. That's perfectly fine while we get everything situated. So she leaves the room. I'm on my phone. And of course, right? Because, I mean, what else can go wrong? I'm on my phone trying to get on the Care Credit website. And for some reason, every other website is working except for Care Credit. I keep going on it. I keep hitting login, and it keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, and then saying, error message, please try again later. We don't have later. We got to do this now. So the girl comes back in, and I'm like, listen, I can't get on. I need to get on. Please help me. So she's like, all right, I'll get one of the girls from the front desk to see if they can help you and see what's wrong. So another girl comes in, and she's like, oh, it's the Wi-Fi. No, obviously it's not that great. Why don't you try going outside in the front and see if you can try that. See if you could try that. And then if not, we'll do it on the computer. So I'm like, all right, thank you. So I go outside. I'm trying to do it. It's not working. I'm like several different times I tried it. Then it finally goes through, but I had the wrong password. How was that possible when I had my password saved in my notes on my iPhone? So I'm like, I'm hitting the exact password that I did last time. How is it possible that it doesn't match? So I'm freaking out now. I'm like, oh my God. And then as this is happening, people are coming in with their pets, for their appointments. So I'm like moving out of the way because I was right in the front. And I'm like so stressed out. My anxiety level is so high. I'm telling myself, Chuck, just calm down, just calm down. But I'm having an anxiety attack. I can't talk to nobody. Nobody's around me. It's just me. Nobody even knows what's happening because I didn't tell anybody up until this point. I think I texted my mom and I told her I'm taking Tyrion to the ER, but she hadn't texted back yet. So nobody knew details of what was happening. After, it felt like 20 years, but it probably was just like 10 or 15 minutes. I said, all right, let me just try to call because I can't get on the website. It's not working for me. I don't know why it's not working. I got off the Wi-Fi. I went on my own data. It still wasn't working. So I ended up calling the customer service line that was attached to the online portal. It took me to an automated system. The automated system was able to verify my account because I had my card number on me. And then I was able to increase my credit on the phone with the automated AI girl. And I increased my credit to $10,000 because I didn't know how much it was going to be total. And I wanted to cover myself in case there was any extra expenses because, you know, I just didn't know what it was going to be, which was very smart in hindsight because it ended up going up. So I got approved immediately for an increase of $10,000. I immediately rushed into the ER. I got approved. I'm here to pay my bill. Please help. So she's like, all right, great. So she's doing her thing. And then they tell me, all right, we're going to do lab work. We're going to keep him overnight. We don't want to release him because his levels are way too low to be released. So we're going to keep him overnight. We're going to do the transfusion. We're going to see how that works. We will call you with any updates. We have your phone number, da, 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 da. So I'm like, okay, thank you. All right, thank you. I leave. I'm freaking out at this point. I get in my car. I call my mom on the phone. I'm like on the verge of hysteria because I'm like, Tyrion has to get a blood transfusion. His blood level was too low. They say he's anemic. He's staying in the ER overnight. My mom's like, what? Because he was just fine. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So she's like, just calm down. It's okay. Just calm down. Just pray. It's okay. You know, things will be taken care of. You're doing what you can. Don't worry. Da, da, da. So I leave. I go home. I talked, and then the ER doctor called me later on that night to give me an update. And she said his level went up from 6% to 11%, which is a good sign. That means that he's taking well to the transfusion. His body is taking well to it. But he still looks very lethargic and he's not well. So she's like, we're gonna do all these blood level tests to find out what could be the issue, what could be the problem. Then she tells me, we think it could be another disease that he may have called IMHA, I think it's called, which is immunohypolytic anemia, something like that. I forgot the full name. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. But it's another form of an immunodeficiency disease that causes anemia, and he had all the signs. Paleness, lethargic, can't eat, can't drink, can't breathe, all these things. So I'm like, oh my God, another freaking disease. Are you kidding me? She goes, it could be that, or it could be a side effect from the steroid therapy that he was taking, because that can cause anemia. Or it could be that he's having a withdrawal because his dose was dropped and his body became dependent on the steroid therapy. So this is him having a withdrawal. I'm like, a freaking withdrawal? What, my dog's a drug addict? So I'm like, oh my God. So she calls me 6 a.m. in the morning. I got to call it 6 a.m. in the morning, which she told me what happened because they do their rounds at 6, from 6 to 8. So she calls me, she tells me his level is still at 11%. He's doing okay. But because it's still low, they want to keep him another day for observations. They don't feel comfortable releasing him that Wednesday, which is the next day. So I'm like, okay. She's like, we want to do blood tests on him. We want to do this lab test on him. Do you approve? I said, yes. I mean, we have to do it. So yeah. So she goes, all right, I'm going to put those papers in. Once Dr. Lopez comes in, he'll call you and give you an update because he's going to be taking over the case after this morning. So the next doctor calls me in the afternoon to give me an update on everything. He's like, Tyrion's blood level is still at 11%, but he's still doing well. But we want to give him another transfusion because he's not improving at a fast enough rate, and we don't feel comfortable leaving him like this. We want to give him another transfusion. We also want to do our lab work. Then he tells me Tyrion has an ulcer in his GI tract, which can cause the anemia, and possible ways to get rid of it is we could do surgery. And so as he's talking to me, my anxiety is just going up. Like as he's talking, because now I'm thinking, I just spent $5,500 last night on top of the $4,900 from last month. And now you're talking about more transfusions, more lab work, and now possible surgery. So how much is that going to cost me? So I'm just like, oh my God, I can't afford this. Like, what am I going to do? So now I'm thinking, if God forbid my boy needs surgery, if God forbid there's more lab work that needs to be done and I can't afford it, what am I going to do? Because I don't have the money, I don't have the funds, and my insurance is not going to pick it up. My care credit, I could try to do another increase, but that may not even work because I already did an increase last night. He said he would call me back later on in the day to give me an estimate of what under the night in the ER was going to cost me. So this girl calls me. She sent me an email. So she was like, okay, I sent you an email with an estimate, and then I'm also going to go over some of the charges and why, they cost this much, whatever. So she's talking. I go on my email and I see it was, how much was it? It was $2,500 and something was the amount. So I'm like, I already know I don't have it because Care Credit just gave me an increase and I only had $939 left on my Care Credit card. That's all that I had left to use. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I asked her, I said, can I pay half on my care credit for what I have left, and then I'll just pay the rest on my debit card for whatever I have. She goes, yes, you can do that. So that's what I did. I ended up paying care credit, what was left over, and then I paid the rest on my debit, and I just took out from my main account to pay for the services fully. And at that point, I'm stressing out because I'm seeing my account dwindling lower and lower. Bills are, due, and I'm paying for this. And what if he needs more stuff? What am I gonna do, Lord? What am I gonna do? So I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm talking to family and friends. And one of my friends, we're texting back and forth, and I'm telling her what's happening. I'm giving her an update. Her name is Sarah. She's watching. I love you, Sarah. She's actually a YouTuber as well, and I'll have her information in my description. So we're talking on text, and she was like, why don't you try no, first she asked me about care credit because she had done care credit for her cat. And I was telling her I do have care credit, but the problem is that, because at this point I had tried doing an increase with care credit and I got denied. They were like, no, ain't happening. So I told her, I am doing care credit, but I can't get an increase and I've already used up so much money from them. And she was like, why don't you try doing GoFundMe and see if that will work? Now, I had thought about doing GoFundMe, but I just didn't want to do it because, number one, I don't like to ask for money ever. And I just felt like that's a last resort type of thing. I just don't want to do it. And I didn't really even have high hopes that I would even get any help. Who wants to give money to somebody online? Like, I just thought like it's hopeless at this point, and I don't want to come across as a beggar, Her wise words, she told me, those who want to give or who feel led to give are going to give. And those who don't want to give won't. But it doesn't hurt to ask. And just her saying that one line in that text was like, wow, she's right. Like, why am I holding off? Why am I being stubborn? Why am I being prideful? Why am I not trusting in the goodness of people who want to help? And at that point in time, people were already writing me and telling me, hey, do a GoFundMe. I would love to donate and help. So I was seeing those comments, but I was like, no, I can't do that. But having this conversation with my friend, it just kind of, I guess, solidified that I needed to do something. Like, I tried all my resources and I was capped. So my last resort is just to ask for help. And so begrudgingly, I'm at work first of all, I'm working in my normal job. Can't even concentrate because all of this is happening. And I said, let me just try it. So I go online. I've never done GoFundMe before. I didn't even know how it worked. I go on the website, sign up for it with my email address, hit start a campaign. And I just said, all right, here we go. And I wrote, I think, like a long story, pretty much, of Tyrion's health history and what I was going through financially and the help that I needed. And if anybody wanted to help, it would be greatly appreciated, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to pay the hospital bills. Like, I would be in debt with care credit for a very long time because there's no way that I could pay back what I already took out. And at this point in time, I didn't know how much more I was going to have to take out for it because I'm not insured with pre-existing until next year. So at this point, I'm pretty much uninsured for my dog, which is not great. So I'm like, all right, let me just do this campaign. I'm gonna try it out. We'll see what happens. So I hit send. Campaign starts. I do a post on YouTube, on my YouTube community post. I do a post on it, just sharing if anybody wants to help. Here's a link. Here's what's going on with my dog. Some of you guys asked for a GoFundMe, so I'm doing it. If you guys want to help, I'll be greatly appreciated. Please do not feel obligated because I am not asking. I'm just putting it out there. If you want to help, if you don't want to help, it's perfectly fine. Your prayers would mean everything. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart. Like, if all you can do is pray, please do that. I kept getting notifications on my phone. It kept blinking. Like 10 minutes after I posted the post, I was getting notifications of people, $5, $10, $20. I'm like, oh my God. So I go to the website and I see that I've already made like $200 something within like the first 10 or 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, people were actually like helping. Like, oh my God. I'm getting emotional now. So then I text my friend, Sarah, the one who told me to do GoFundMe. I text her and I'm like, oh my God, Sarah, people are actually helping and the fund is going up. I can't believe it. And then she texts me, she goes, oh my God, it's at 3,000. And I'm like, what? So I refreshed the page again and I saw that it was at $3,000. And that's when I was like, oh my God, I may reach the goal. Like, we may actually be able to pay for his vet bills, like today. Like, what? At this point in time, I'm like extremely, extremely emotional. And those who know me, I'm not a crier. I'm not somebody who cries easily. It takes a lot for me to get teary-eyed and to cry about something. I just don't. Like, I'm a very, very strong person. And it takes a lot for me to cry. But that broke me down. And I think that's when I did my short, because I was like, I gotta tell them how thankful I am. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. Like, I was expecting maybe 200. Like, seriously, that's what I was expecting. And I ended up far exceeding that. I was just so blessed. I couldn't even concentrate on work or anything else. And my friend told me, she goes, now you can focus on Tyrion's health and you don't have to worry about the stress of the finances, because that's being taken care of. You could just focus on him. And that was my biggest concern, because I felt so guilty. Like, here my dog is suffering in the hospital, almost died last night. And instead of me worrying solely for his health, I'm worrying for his health, and then also, how am I gonna pay for this? I'm gonna go in debt. I can't afford this. You guys came through in a way that I never expected, ever. Like, ever. Like, I far exceeded my goal. Within 24 hours, we were able to raise $24,000. I even saying it out loud doesn't seem real. It's like, how is this possible? Like, how is this possible? The power of prayer is the only thing that I can draw back to, because when I was driving home from the doctors, I was so depressed. And I remember telling God, I was like, Jesus, I'm giving it to you. I can't carry this burden. I don't know how to carry this burden. I'm gonna just give it to you, and please help. I need a sign. I need a miracle. And within 24 hours, he came through. Within 24 hours. I'm still overwhelmed. I'm still like, it's only been half a day since that whole campaign took off and we raised that kind of money for him. And I'm just so incredibly blessed. I'm so incredibly thankful. I can't tell you guys what you mean to me. And I know you guys did this because you love Tyrion. You guys tell me all the time how much you love Tyrion so much. He's like a part of your family now. And I guess I didn't think about that when I was thinking about needing help. You know, like I just wasn't thinking about the bigger picture. But I'm realizing now what a community this is. Like, this is not just me coming on here and doing a video and logging off. Like, this is a family. This is a connection. This is something that I never expected. And you guys are like an extension of me. Like, you guys are an extension of my family, of Tyrion's family. You have no idea. You just have no idea what you did for me and what you did for him. All right, guys, I'm here, ready to pick up Tyrion. Let's go.
813.
486. Still waiting for my baby.
All right, hold on for me just a second.
Look who's back. Tyrion. Look, Nene. Hi, puppy. Oh, my little baby, my baby. Look who's back. Oh, my baby. Oh, my God. My baby. So he got a lot of meds he has to take. A big old bag. Of course, the bill. We're home. We're home. The entire ride, he had his face right on my shoulder the entire time. It was so freaking cute, and I couldn't kiss him because there was so much traffic. But let's go inside, puppy. Hi, my baby's home. My baby's home. I'm so happy. And he looks really good. He looks really, really good. Much better than he did on Tuesday. Much better. Oh, I'm so relieved. Oh, I love you so much. Look at his little bandage where they did the blood transfusion. Oh, poor baby. What you did for him, like I'm able to pay off that entire care credit, and whatever's left over is going to his bills. So whatever complications he has, any more medications, any more treatments that he's gonna need in the future, I'm covered now. You know, like, I have money that I can use to help him, and I don't have to stress out about it and go in debt over it. And hopefully it'll hold me over until next year when my insurance kicks in for his pre-existing. But what you guys did for me, there are just no words. Like, miracles do happen, and you guys you reminded me of the goodness of people. My day went from hell to heaven within just a couple of hours. Thank you. There just aren't enough words that I can say to convey what I'm feeling inside. Even if you couldn't give, if you just thought about me, or you thought about Tyrion, or you prayed, or you wrote a comment wishing him well, that meant everything to me. I read everything. It meant the world to me. It really did. And I want you guys to know that. I will definitely be keeping you guys up to date on what's happening with Tyrion going forward. He has his next recheck appointment this coming Monday, where they're gonna check his level. So right now his PCV levels are 16%. And so they're gonna check it on Monday to see if it's gone up any. Hopefully it does go up, because that's the whole goal, right? He's on a bunch of meds right now. We took him off of steroid therapy completely because the steroid therapy, we believe, is what caused the ulcer and the anemia. That was a bad reaction to the steroid therapy. Oh, and he tested negative for the other disease. Now, when I went there on Tuesday, I was told that he possibly could have, I think it's IMHA, immune mediated.
Yeah, that's that's immune mediated destruction.
Okay.
There's no evidence of IMHA based off of this pathology review. But, you know, if his anemia continues to get worse, it's not improving, then we may have to further explore that. But at least at this point in time, you know, it seems less likely.
So that's a blessing because that's one less disease to worry about. So it looks like it's just a matter of taking him off of the steroid therapy. Hopefully his health will increase and improve. So I'm just watching him closely right now. I'm watching him very, very closely because, again, 1 minute he's fine, the next minute he's being rushed to the hospital near death. I mean, that's how fast it can happen. So I'm just thankful that I still have my baby with me. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise Tyrion videos are coming. I know you guys love the shorts that I do with him. And you know that you guys love when I include him in videos. So I definitely will be doing that going forward. And just thank you. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for your kindness. I will forever be grateful. I will forever be thankful. I will forever be in debt to you guys for what you did for Tyrion. Thank you so much. With that said, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post a brand new video. Until next time, I love you.